We've got Barbecue back here. You're all invited. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing pretty well, Jared. Doing pretty well. How are you doing today, Jared?
You know what? I have no complaints. That game went pretty much like we were expecting it to go, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little bit better.
Maybe a little bit better. If you listen to our predictions for this game, Jared had a shutout 35-0.
Mm-hmm.
So he had the defense right. Mm-hmm. And I had a prediction of Ohio State winning 45-7. So I had the offense right. So combined, Jared and I were correct.
Teamwork. We call that teamwork. I mean, yeah, I kind of just expected, and I mean, I guess it was only 14-0 at halftime. So I guess maybe even then, I think you take away maybe the defensive touchdown and it's about where we were expecting it to be. I didn't expect neither of us had Ohio State covering, so we both got that wrong. But I don't know. I just sort of expected, I literally expected it to be 35-0, as Kyle said, but you know, it is what it is. Like,
it is. And
Ohio State was going to do what they wanted to do. I'm surprised that they tried as hard as they did, and they showed up as like the defense was playing like they were going up against a top 5 team. Offense, not quite like, you know, offense was a little shaky. Just with some silly stuff mostly.
Yeah, I mean, you only put up 54 points, or not points. That would have been nice. 54 yards in that first quarter there.
Yeah.
Not that great. Not great at all. They started off 0-3 on third downs.
Yeah.
And then went 2 for 2 to end the first half there. But yeah, it's definitely a very slow start, but they got things rolling. They got things rolling after that. Like, I'm looking at their drives here for Ohio State. After they punted on their first drive there, touchdown.
Yep.
Field goal.
Yep.
Touchdown. So they went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight drives of scoring points. So, and that's what you want.
And one of the other, if I'm just going to keep, you know, patting myself on the back, one of the other things I correctly predicted was that Ohio State was going to run some goofy plays on offense just to throw some stuff on the film, and they did do that. There were people complaining in the Discord server like, "Oh, Ohio State's being too cute. What are they doing? What are these plays?" And I was like, I told you guys ahead of time, like sloopcast.thediscord.com, by the way. Always be plugging. And I was like, hey, they were like, hey, and I'm like, guys, I told you they were going to do this. This was a game to put some stuff on the film that Indiana and Michigan were going to have to acknowledge and practice for and spend some time on. This is what this game is for. Because you were never not going to win this football game. You were never not going to win this game. And if I'm at all distracted, it might be because I have
points you were going to lose.
Right. Like Ohio State was going to win this by however many points that they wanted to.
Yeah.
And if I'm at all distracted, it's because Miami is currently driving or attempting to drive against Georgia Tech with 1:48 on the clock.
Let's go ahead and distract Jared here, and let's go ahead and give our report card. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it here. So if you're new here, Jared and I go ahead and give a report card to the team as a whole. We'll go into the offense here a little bit, into the defense, special teams, and then team as a whole too, whether it's effort and other areas too. So offense, let's start with the offense. The game plan here. It's hard for me to grade.
Hey, Kyle,
negative.
Real quick.
Yeah, I know I see.
I'm going to say it. I don't care. Georgia Tech just stripped Ward of the ball. Georgia Tech's going to upset Miami.
Well, that Miami has 2 timeouts left, so it's looking that way. But there is a slim hope.
Yeah, they also have the ball like on the 20.
That's true. All right, offense game plan, Jared. Game plan for Ohio State against Purdue here. it's hard for me to grade one side or the other because we knew going into this game, Ohio State didn't really need to do much. They could just run very vanilla and win this game easily here. But at the same time, I think you called it a little bit in our previous episode. Ohio State may throw some things in here a little bit to kind of put some stuff on tape for Indiana, for Michigan in the upcoming weeks here too. And we saw that. We saw a few jet sweeps. We saw a few wrinkle plays, and some of them didn't go out as well as they hoped to.
The option play to on the outside to Carnell Tate was an interesting choice. But again, I feel like they're trying stuff, throwing stuff on film. That is my take of that. So I'm just going to go with an A on the game plan. No complaints, really. Sure.
I agree. Yeah. Let's just stick with the A. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I can't do negative. I can't really say anything negative about it other than, Chip Kelly's trying to be too cute, but I already said it why. So
yeah.
Game management. I didn't see really any issues. Ohio State was in full control. There wasn't really any issues like, Ohio State went 3 and out way too many times. They went 3 straight drives without a touch, without scoring. Like they did exactly what they needed to do on offense here. So I'll say an A.
I'm going to do an A-, and I'm going to explain why, which is that I would have liked to have seen the offensive starters pulled sooner.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right.
Passing here. So passing, let me scroll up to my stats here. Will Howard, 21 for 26, 260 yards for the game. I was hoping he would get over 250. He did that. 3 touchdowns, and he also rushed for 1, but we're talking about passing here. 3 in the air there. 1 to Jeremiah Smith, 1 to G. Scott, and the lone catch that Emeka had was for a touchdown as well. So yeah, I liked the way Howard's been throwing the ball. He didn't have one of those games where he threw a really bad pass. It's like, come on, Howard, like be a little bit smarter than that. I thought he didn't really have any of those.
He didn't have any. So. He didn't have any bad choices.
So
I would say there was the long throw to Carnell Tate down the sideline that Tate wasn't able to pull in.
Yep.
Was either late or short. Mm-hmm. Howard doesn't have the biggest arm. We know that. And there was a pass to G. Scott over the middle that could have been a tad bit lower. But other than that, a good day from Will Howard altogether.
Yep. So
I'm good with an A.
Passing. So running here, I thought the running backs overall were really did pretty well. It seemed like whenever Trevion touched the ball, he made some spectacular plays, made some great catches, some great runs there. So for the running side of it, I'll give I'll say like an A-. I'll say an A-.
Hey,
for the running.
First down, Georgia Tech. They are going to win now.
That is
Team Chaos.
Yep, I got it.
Okay. Kyle has to send out a Team Chaos alert in our Discord server. One of many benefits we offer in our Discord server is alerting to close games. Once again, discord.thesloopcast.com. Always be plugging. I can't get the darn thing to light up. Oh boy. Come on, Photoshop. Okay, I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm having some technical issues.
You're fine. What do you give the running? What do you give the running? I said an A- for me.
Yeah, I thought Trey was definitely on his stuff today. Judkins, he didn't have a bad day by any means. Just Trey looked especially explosive today.
14.2 on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had over 100. He had over 100 total yards for the game. 85 on the ground and and 43 through the air. So I'd say A minus for the running backs too. And I like, even though he only had 3 touches, and James Peoples has a bright future. I really like the way I saw him running in the limited time he had in the fourth quarter.
Spikes in the chat says feels like Judd missed a few holes early. Yeah, I think like I've got the feeling like Judkins was trying to make a big thing happen instead of just getting yards, which is a thing you see players do when they're playing a game against a team like Purdue.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So next one here we have receiving. Obviously, I think the big talk is about Jeremiah Smith breaking 2 records in one game here, both receptions and touchdowns as a true freshman at Ohio State. 6 catches, 87 yards, and that touchdown. But Carnell Tate had himself a great game as well. He also had 6 catches, had 56 yards in the game. Was this really Tate's coming out party here to really make a name for himself here? Obviously, like Emeka, not sure what was going on with
depends
Emeka
upon
here.
I don't know, I feel like how do the casuals view Carnell Tate? Carnell Tate's been out as far as I'm concerned. But you know, we're Ohio State nerds, right? Like we obviously know. Does the casual fan know who Carnell Tate is? If not, shame on them. But I thought it was a great day overall. I don't feel like they necessarily asked a lot from a receiving standpoint in this game. I don't know. Let me say this. It looked really easy at times, which I think is just a good sign. If something isn't easy just because it looks easy. And I think I might be a bit off in my analysis because of that, because it really just looked really easy at times. Sorry, Kyle, what was your grade?
I didn't give a grade. I was going to say,
no, sorry.
I was going to say the starters I thought played really well. Jeremiah Smith played well. Carnell Tate played really well. Not sure what was going on with Emeka. Seemed like there was a period of time when we didn't see him in the game. Not sure what the deal was there, but he did get a catch in there, and it was that touchdown in the third or fourth quarter. But yeah, there was. I'm not sure exactly, but Jeremiah Smith and Tate both had really good games.
I think what it is a team might come in with a game plan of like, okay, we're going to shut down Emeka. And Ohio State says, okay, cool. We'll throw to the other 2. You know what I mean? Someone might come in with a game plan like, okay, we're going to shut down Jeremiah Smith, which I think is what like Penn State wanted to do last week. Mm-hmm. And Ohio State said, cool, we'll throw to the other 2 guys. Like,
yeah,
this is just sort of Chip Kelly, right? He's not one to go against, you know, he's just like, okay, if that's what you're willing to give us, we're going to take it. And then he takes it.
Yeah. Yeah. A for me, for my grade there. Run block. Now, I feel especially early on, Ohio State struggled to get the ball going, get the run game going early on. You look at those first 2 drives, it was not much sled moving there for that offense on the ground there. It took Will Howard 3 attempts from like the 6-yard line to get into the end zone on that second drive after the punt block there.
One of those was Howard's fault because he should have. It was a read option and he shouldn't have taken it.
Fair. So I'm gonna say like a C minus on the run blocking. Yeah,
I grant you that it wasn't great early.
Was getting eaten on those running plays there. They just weren't really
on the
getting
first
enough
few drives.
Push on those. Yeah, but
I'm sorry, what was Trey's average again?
This is against a Purdue. The defensive line is not that great for Purdue, and they should have been able to handle it a little bit better than what we saw here. So I'm going to say a C. I'll say a C.
Okay. Sorry, what was Trey's average again?
Trey was 14.2. Judkins
Per carry?
was under 3.
Okay. Just making sure. I'm gonna go with a B.
All right.
Pass blocking.
Pass blocking. I thought this was really well. Looking at the stat here, they only let up one sack all game, and honestly, I think that was the turf monster got Howard more so than it was on the offensive line there.
Yeah, it was.
I say an A. Pass blocking was really well. Definitely a scare in this game here, where you thought you were going to lose your third offensive lineman here, but thankfully he was able to get back up and got back in the game and I think played a few more series after that too.
No, he played the entire third quarter, which I wasn't necessarily happy with. Of course, neither Brown nor Sayin looked all that. Yeah. Did they really blame the turf issue on the band? Joel Klatt did say that.
I know. Yeah, he did say that. It's like, no, they do not practice on it. I know they have their own practice field outside of the stadium. So none of that. Oh, they practice in the stadium. No, it's none of that.
I was very confused by that statement. And I thought to myself, I'm like, they have their own practice facilities, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, they do. Kyle apparently knew. I thought Kyle said it very confidently. So Kyle apparently knows.
All right. What do you say? A for pass blocking? What's your grade?
I did. I said A.
All right. Third down. Our next grade is on third down. Ohio State 3 for
rough
7.
Start.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was on the second half. Total 5 for 12 against a not great Purdue defense. Started off over 3.
Yeah.
And then finished off being 5 for 9 after those first 3 third downs there. But granted, they went 2 for 2 on fourth downs. In the set it says 2 for 3, but that was the last drive for Ohio State. They went for fourth down and didn't get for it. But for the starters,
we don't count
for the starters. They went 2 for 2 on fourth downs there.
Yeah,
I was going to grade harsh on this, but after really looking at it, yeah, 5 for 12 isn't under 50%, but you did convert 2 of those fourth downs. I'll say a B.
Kyle goes B. I'm going to say B minus.
Could have been better.
I think we have to grade
Purdue defense.
Yeah, we have to grade based off of expectation, and expectation also means competition, the expectation versus the given competition. So yeah, I agree mostly with Kyle on this one.
All right. Awesome. C Spikes at C minus.
Yeah, I recorded it.
All right. With that, we'll go into the defense. But before we go into the defense, we're going to go ahead and do a little self promo here. We are the Sloopcast. You can check us out over at thesloopcast.com, where you can find all of our great links to get to know us and watch a little bit more of us on YouTube, youtube.thesloopcast.com. If you want to help support Jared and I over at Patreon, you can go to patreon.thesloopcast.com. Or if you enjoy Jared and I and want to help support us in other ways, you can head on over to merch.thesloopcast.com. You can find other Sloopcast swag there. And also, Jared mentioned discord.thesloopcast.com is our own little chat environment community there. I would definitely hit up that place first. Get to talk to Jared and I and all of the other Buckeye fans there to have a good time in there. So we'll go ahead and take a quick break and get back to talking to the defense.
I didn't go to the wrong page. Prove I did. Defense.
All right, game plan. It's hard to say negatively here. I know the first few drives Purdue was able, and hats off to Purdue, they were able to extend drives, which is what they wanted to do, limit the number of possessions Ohio State has, just like every team tries to do here.
Sure.
But I mean, hats off to Ohio State. They shut out Purdue. It could have been 6 points if the Purdue's kicker was able to get those through the uprights there. But you get the shutout there. You hold Purdue to just over 200 yards, 206 total, 108 in the air, under 100 on the ground there. So yeah, I thought the game plan was fine. Didn't have to do anything spectacular there. So I don't have anything bad to say.
I mean, I went full 8+ on it personally. Listen, okay. you get a shutout, and granted, some of that
it's hard to do.
Granted, some of that's on the Purdue kicker. One of those field goals was incredibly makeable, and he obviously didn't make it. But a shutout's a shutout is a shutout. And I thought for the most part, the defense looked dominant. There was, I think it was Purdue's second drive where they were getting some good run plays for one reason or another. Third drive.
The third drive.
Yeah. And that was really like the one drive where I felt like annoyed by the defense. Other than that, I thought it was a good overall day. And I thought the game plan was correct. I think they threw some stuff out there without it being. They also, like the offense, were we're going to start playing with the jack again all of a sudden. Hey, the defense has looked really great the past couple weeks. Let's start playing with the jack position again.
Yeah. I know that obviously Jared and I are talking right now, but somebody did ask the question related to the jack package. So I'm curious on what he has to say there. So I'll have to listen to that after we talk.
I'll answer. I don't know what Ryan Day is going to say. He's probably not going to say anything. Day's very diplomatic. He's not going to say anything useful. I'll tell you what it was. It's the same reason why we saw some goofy ass end around plays from the offense. Throwing some shit on tape to make sure Indiana and Michigan have to prepare for it.
Fair.
Spikes confirms it was nothing informative.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Z Spikes. Game management. I can't say anything again. I can't say anything negative. So A again. You got the shutout. You held Purdue to under 100 yards in that second half there, just over 100 in the first half. Yeah. A.
I'm actually even going to go A+, and I'm going to go A+ on this one. Actually, for the opposite reason that I put a minus on the offensive game management, which is that I really enjoyed, I'm really happy with the amount of rotation that we saw out of the defense today. You're playing Purdue. Let's get, and of course the Edric Houston thing ends up biting you a bit as he had a freshman moment, but they got a bunch of young players out there. Matthews got some time out there. They try to get Hicks back out there after he hasn't been on the field for a minute. They were doing a lot of rotation, and in a game like this, with still a pretty long season ahead of us, I'm very supportive of the rotation.
Yeah. Especially in this game, you get your starters a lot of rest here. I think there was a stat that was showed up on the broadcast there. The last 3 games, a lot of your starters were playing over 50 snaps. So much needed rest for them in this game here. Run stop. Early on, I was really disappointed to see Purdue being able to get long runs there. They
Devin
In the
McAbee has a 5.6 average, which is
yeah,
unacceptable.
it is. Yeah, unacceptable there. Much better in the second half. It held Purdue to 31 rushing yards in the second half. Much, much, much better there. But yeah, that first half, yeah, Maccabee seemed to extend those drives, especially that third drive there. Or was it here? Actually, the third and fourth drive, Purdue had a 11 drive, 72 yards on that missed field goal, and then the next drive they go down 13 plays, 34 yards, and fail to convert that fourth down there. But
what did they rank in rushing? I don't remember the exact number from Know Your Enemy, but their rush per average was like far and away their best category. I don't remember what the number is off the top of my head, but it is their best category. Kyle, what do you give the run stop grade?
Much better in the second half. Originally, I was going to grade it a lot lower, but much better in the second half. So I'll say B. I was thinking B minus, but I'll say B.
I went C.
Okay.
Like 50s. Yeah, it was something like the 50s, which considering all of their other categories were 100 plus, it's pretty good.
All right. Next one here is pass rush. Ohio State got 4 sacks in this game. The defensive line, especially Tuimulau and Sawyer, even if they didn't get the sacks, they brought a lot of pressure in this game. I was very, very happy to see this defensive line finally getting some pressure, making the quarterback not feeling uncomfortable back there. I honestly would say like an A minus A. For the first time in a long time, I felt like the defensive line was finally disruptive in this game. So, yeah, I'll stick with the A.
Yeah, and I almost feel like they got so many of those sacks early. I almost feel like they kind of pulled back at some point. I will say this, a lot of the sacks that they did get, they got by bringing pressure. And, you'd like to get that sort of pressure by just bringing 4, especially considering Purdue were not a good pass blocking team. Like Ohio State did not have a big challenge as far as pass blocking in this game. So that's another reason why I'm going to keep them at like an A minus instead of like a full A. So, like I said, Purdue's a bad pass blocking team and a lot of the sacks came from blitzes. So I don't think I can go full A, but I will give them an A minus.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Pass coverage. All right. I'm going to spend some time on pass coverage here, Jared. There's a lot of Buckeye fans out there that's ripping on Burke, ripping on Igbinosun right now here. They're both really good defensive backs. Both really good. So sometimes you can be in perfect coverage.
Yeah.
And sometimes the throw is just that much better. That catch is just that much better. That's just
good football.
It's just good football. Honestly, like for those that like watch NBA or anything, you can have like the best defense, but then all of a sudden you had LeBron or you had Curry that all of a sudden just throws up just a great shot, even though it's perfectly defended, and they make the shot. It's like hell of a play, hell of a shot. That's what happened. That's what happens sometimes here, and unfortunately, it happens to Burke, and unfortunately, happens to Igbinosun. But for the most part, they play really well. And it's just sometimes the ball just doesn't go your way.
Well, and especially like the past 2 games in particular, Penn State and Purdue, obviously, they were just by themselves the entire game. And by the way, this goes for Aaron Scott too. I mean, it was in junk time, and I don't know how heavily we weigh junk time when we do these report cards. Not very, but Aaron Scott had perfect coverage, and just the taller Purdue wide receiver just got the ball over top of him. It was still great coverage.
Yeah.
Like It's football. It happens. And the Denzel Burke play, he did break the pass up. He broke up the pass. It's just that the Purdue player made a great job catching the ball after it was broken up. Shit happens. You aren't the main character. Ohio State fans, I know you hate when I say this. You aren't the main character. Sometimes the other team is on the field too. And sometimes that other team does good plays.
Let up zero touchdowns.
And I co-sign everything Gus Johnson said about spoiled Ohio State fans ripping on Ryan Day as well.
They defensive backs led up, obviously no points in the air, come up with a pick. They had an interception and held Purdue to 108 yards on under 50% completion percentage. This is really good. I'm going to say an A. They kept Purdue in check, and there was just like 2 catches that I can think of that were just outstanding catches, and hats off to them. Great play. Move on to that next snap, and hopefully it goes better for you next time.
And Iggy is very handsy. Like
he is.
Rarely does he get caught for a pass interference where I will say, no, that absolutely wasn't pass interference. Like, yeah, no, that was pass interference.
He is handsy. Yeah.
All right. Tackling. Not great.
I'm going to say D. The tackling was poor. The tackling was poor in this game. Very poor.
Spike says he's an SEC defensive back. You know what? We could give him that excuse last year.
Yeah, I was not impressed with the tackling in this game here. A lot of missed tackles. Could have had more sacks. Could have more tackle for losses. It's just, yeah. And Maccabee should have had less yards on the ground too, if it wasn't for the poor tackling. So yeah,
in Ohio State's defense, Maccabee's kind of huge.
Fair.
Maccabee. Modern linebackers aren't meant to tackle Maccabee. Dude looks like Jerome Bettis out there. You don't face running backs like that too often in the year 2024. Spike's going way nicer than you saying B.
Yeah.
I'm going to split the difference and go C.
All right.
Maccabee's a truck. Maccabee, actually, not Maccabee.
Fair. Purdue went 2 for 12 on third downs. Did not convert a third down in the second half there. Yeah, 2 for 12. That's a really good day there. Hey,
I agree. All right.
Anything else about the defense, Jared? Before we move on?
Spikes also says the chat report card's a little bit harder to do on Bleacher Report because the delay is increased, but we appreciate you, Spikes. Kyle, you want to run us through one more ad time?
Sure.
And then we'll do the special teams and overall.
Sure. We'll go ahead and do one more ad, one more self promo here. As mentioned before, thesloopcast.com is our main page. You can go to grab all of our other links to our YouTube page, the Discord, the Patreon. Mentioned the merch store before, but if you're not into I don't really like wearing podcast gear, but still want to support you. Jared makes some cool Ohio-based shirts, cities more so. Over at 7071.thesloopcast.com. Some really cool gear there that Jared's made throughout the years here too. So again, thesloopcast.com, main page you go to find all of the links there. So we'll go ahead and take our next break and talk about the rest of the team here.
All right. let's see. Special teams.
Place
Kyle?
kicking. Place
Kyle?
kicking. Yes.
Are you, I feel like you're I would say like our special teams guy, right? Like I feel
Am
like
why is that?
I don't know. I feel like you have more passion for it than I do. And it's not to say that I don't have passion for it. It's to say that you have a lot of passion for it.
Why would you say that?
Because it's a meme in the Discord how much you need a special teams touchdown. And you have harped for the past 2 or 3 weeks that we don't do anything on punt return.
Yes, that is correct. But we will get to that. We're going to first talk about, well, I have to, because what I have in my notes is not correct here. What's the first one, Jared?
Kicking.
It is kicking. First. Hey, you got a nice field goal there. What was that field goal?
I don't know how long it was. Oh no, Spikes, he's not wrong. I'm just giving him his flowers. This is meant to be complimentary. I don't know if Kyle took it that way.
42-yard field goal. Not a chip shot. That's a pretty good field goal there. And you make it, yeah. Hey.
Yeah, no complaints. No significant returns, I would say. So they did well on kickoffs. There were some touchbacks. There were some, standard returns. Nothing special happened. You kicked the field goal. Didn't miss any extra points. Good kicking day.
Yep. You want to change it to our report card there, Jared?
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
That's why I can't see. What's the next one?
Punting. Now, the block.
You get a touchdown on special teams here. Not returning though.
I think punt. Okay. In my mind, punting is the act of punting. I would, as weird as this might sound, if we're going to take the block play, I would put that under returning.
Okay.
Am I wrong for interpreting it that way?
All right. Let's talk. Okay. You are correct. Let's grade it on that. So Joe McGuire, 2 for 92 yards, average of 46. That's acceptable. I'll take that. He definitely had some questionable punts throughout the year, so I can't complain. I guess. So
yeah. I still
no blocked punts.
The second punt was very low, but it was also like directed towards the sidelines. So maybe,
and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So I don't even bring that up because he has a tendency to kick the punt too low, even when it's not directional.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. Now we talk about returns.
Now we can talk about returns.
Looking at returns here. Yes. The Ohio State gets a blocked punt here. Finally gets something on special teams here. So that has to grade a lot higher. You get a touchdown on special teams. Absolutely here. But why is Travion back on kickoff returns?
He wants to be.
That is really odd. I don't understand that, but I'll say an A- for the returns here.
I'm sorry. Are we counting the block under this?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
A+. Shut up. What do you want
at this point? It's a meme at this point, Jared.
What do you want?
Stick with it.
Jim Tressel always said it's basically impossible. It's basically impossible to lose a game if you block a punt, like statistically speaking.
By the way, Jared, touchdown Hoosiers.
All right.
You know what I want, and everybody that knows. If you know, you know. So All right, moving on to team. Moving on to our team ratings here. First one is effort. I didn't really see anybody trying to slack off, especially the defense side.
Especially on the defensive side.
Not saying the offense were slack or anything, but especially the defense side, they were wanting to prove something, wanting to get that shutout here. Didn't really see any lack efforts from anybody there. So, hey, I can't give it any lower than an A.
I'm actually going to go A+ on this because this is the exact type of game where you almost do kind of expect, maybe expect's not the right word, anticipate that there might be, especially in the first quarter, like them showing up a little like they did in the Nebraska game. Coming right off of the Penn State game. It probably helps that Northwestern's next week and not Indiana. If you had Indiana next week, then you might have been caught looking forward a little bit more. I'm going to go A+ because I think this is the type of game that they could have showed up and walked through, but they didn't.
Yep. All right. Discipline. I gotta grade this a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Because of that stupid personal foul.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say like a B. I'll say a B here.
I think we have to
still not that many penalties, only 3 for 44 yards. You take out that dumb personal foul and you only had 2 for the game. That's pretty good. I mean, Purdue had 0 in this game, which is perfect, but I would say a B. Yeah, exactly. Freshman mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we also have to, when we talk about discipline, I think we also need to talk about like Iggy on a play where he didn't need to interfere. Iggy's really great. Iggy is really great at, oh no, I'm going to get beat. Let me grab the hell out of this guy. Like getting good pass interference calls. In this case, I felt like he was in perfectly good position the entire time. He didn't need to interfere. And I think there were some other like defensive assignment issues, which to me also falls under discipline. If you're not following your assignment, I think we saw that during Purdue's 2 good drives, the 3rd and 4th drives with some assignment issues, which to me falls under discipline. So I'm gonna go like a C+.
Okay, fair enough. In execution, I thought Ohio State overall executed really well. Definitely some of those cute plays that Ohio State tried to run didn't.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I thought they did execute.
Did they? Or did they not put that play on film? Which I will contend was the goal. The execution was putting it on film.
I'll say A-.
I think
A-.
I think that's fair. I'll go an A- as well. I think that's fair.
All right. And team overall, 45-0 is the final score here. You outgained them by more than double. You get the shutout. You win the turnover battle. You get a special teams touchdown. You get a defensive touchdown. Oh no, they didn't get a special teams touchdown. I'm sorry, no.
Well, they set up the defense set up.
They set that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a defensive touchdown here. You win all three sides of the ball here. So an A.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you an A+ for as Spikes points out, also you cover. I can't give you an A+ for beating Purdue, even on a shutout. This is still a pretty terrible Purdue football team. Like, I just don't feel like there's anything they could have done to get an A+ out of me today in the overall category, because it's Purdue. Awesome. Fryer is playing really well right now, Zach. Partially because the offense is being designed in such a way to help him play really well. Like Chip Kelly's doing a lot to cover up for the deficiency at tackle right now. And so Chip Kelly deserves a ton of credit in that respect. But the players are still executing what they're supposed to be executing and playing really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there was definitely some plays there where you saw Josh Fryer getting even to that second level.
Yeah.
As well. Like that really long,
I will defend
that long run that Trevion had in the third quarter. I forget which drive it was, but Fryer got to that second level and was able to really help Trevion get that really long run there. He's playing much better. I will defend Josh Fryer as a blocking offense, as a run blocking offensive tackle all day. Mm-hmm.
Does he have deficiencies as a pass blocker? Sure. That's why he's at right tackle. And he is a perfectly fine right tackle. I'm not saying he's elite. I'm not saying he's going to get drafted super high. I am saying he's a perfectly good offensive tackle worthy of starting at Ohio State. Virginia Tech just blocked a field goal and ran it back for a touchdown, by the way.
All right.
Clemson's having a great season.
All right. That is it. That is our Scarlet and grade for the Purdue game. Any last comments? But one thing I do miss that we don't do this year is kind of giving out Buckeye leaves.
Do it then. Do it.
I mean, Cody Simon is playing really well.
Yeah,
really well this second, especially the second half of the season here. Like, I don't think Cody Simon gets enough praise for what he does here.
I totally agree.
And obviously, like Caleb Downs is a spectacular, just an outstanding safety. Even if his numbers don't really show it,
I agree.
He makes such great plays, even when he's not tackling as well too. But this defensive line played really well, really well. Especially finally, we saw JT and Jack finally coming out, making some tackle for losses, getting some sacks in there. Obviously, the JT with the forced fumble and Jack with the scoop and score from that too.
Yeah,
love seeing that.
Absolutely, 100%. Mm-hmm. So, did you want to give out stickers or? You brought it up. Low pressure. Just go off the top of your head.
I would just give it to Cody Simon, though. I'm really impressed with what he's done these past few games here.
I'll give mine to Trevion. Spikes says Leaf to Jeremiah Smith breaking. Yeah, Jeremiah Smith broke the freshman touchdown record today.
And the receptions.
Was it both?
Both of them.
Both of them today?
Receptions and touchdowns by a true freshman at Ohio State.
So, yeah. So I'll give my offensive one to Trey, my wild card to Jeremiah Smith, and my defensive one, I'm going to go to Jack Sawyer.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I would offensively, I'd give mine to, even though he didn't get a touchdown, I'd say Carnell Tate. This was a coming out game for Carnell Tate.
I will once again maintain that he's been out, but okay.
All right, fair enough. All right, I think that's it. That's it. Unless you want to add anything else, Jared?
No, I think I'm good. All right, that's it. That is the end of today's episode. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. We are the Buckeye Sloopcast. Thank you for listening.